Hi, welcome back to Educonception. My name is Liz, and I am so happy that you're here back with me for another video. This one I'm super excited about. It is about readiness when it comes to preconception and the idea around needing to be ready, deciding to be ready, and I want to start off with this phrase or this comment of readiness isn't found, it is chosen. So, I am a certified nurse midwife. I see patients clinically, and I'm also have a coaching sector or coaching experience. So, if you're interested in working with me in a coaching capacity, I have linked down below in the description box all my offers for you to go through and peruse and find the one that calls and aligns to you. To start off with this deciding to try the psychology around being ready, ready for conception, ready to become a mother, ready to be, I want to open up by saying nobody tells you that deciding to try for a baby is its own psychological event, separate from trying itself. You can have every condition met and still not feel ready. You can feel completely ready and have nothing lined up. And today in this video, we are allowing ourselves the time with the research, with both the mental, spiritual, and emotional framework that we create in the Educonception to help us make a decision that feels good to us now and even in the future, when we are tasked to come back to that decision, tasked to rework that decision, rewire it to fit whatever new precedents we have set for ourselves, we feel confident in doing so. What the research actually says about how women make this decision of conception, and then breaking down further the question underneath it that nobody is asking you. So let's start with the evidence. Let's start with the research, the meat and the potatoes before we as our foundation before we lead up. So, what is the research telling us about readiness? Readiness to conceive is not a feeling that arrives. Research describes it as a nesting process, satisfying preconditions deemed necessary before moving forward. The International Fertility Decision Making Study, it included about 10,000 participants across 79 different countries, and they identified four core decision factors. One, economic stability. Two, personal. Three, relational readiness. Four, social status. And of course, physical health. So they tied personal and relationship together, though I feel like those could be their own separate factors. So really, in my mind, I take it as five: economic stability, personal readiness, relational readiness, social status, and physical health. Women rated personal and relational readiness as the most influential factors above economics and above everything else. Reproductive ambivalence, simultaneously wanting and resisting parenthood, is documented as particularly prevalent in educated and career women around the world. And so that is really like this ecosystem I'm creating for women like us, educated, career oriented, high achieving women who feel that ambivalence, who feel that tension, that pull of should I not? Well, maybe if I go back to the drawing board, maybe if I do this, maybe I do that, maybe I'll wait, maybe I shouldn't wait, all these things. And the research confirms that it's not immaturity or pathology, it is a complex identity negotiation. Ambivalence given space, not suppressed or rushed, is associated with a better long term outcome than a forced certainty in either direction. So, what the conventional care model that we have as clinicians, if you came and saw a nurse midwife or saw an OBGYN or saw a nurse practitioner or a PA for your preconception counseling, this will evolve, it will revolve around covering what's occurring in your body, the labs, the supplements, the cycle tracking, all those things. But it may not really sit or allow you the space to sit with the question or the decision itself. Nobody asks whether the yes you said out loud matches the yes living in your body. Science documented the preconditions. What it didn't document is the women who met every single one of these and still couldn't move, because readiness was never a checklist, it was always a choice. So, what is the transmission? What is the deeper transmission here? Let's begin with our mental plane. Mentally, you have done this simulation in your mind many, 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 many times. You've run the decision through every framework. You've outlined all the best case scenarios, all the mundane scenarios, and all the worst case scenarios. And you've laid it out bare. You have many, many very robust, very dynamic what if, all covered, and yet there's still not enough. All the pros and cons lists, all the timelines, all the financial calculations. The mind that needs every variable resolved, right? And you're probably already noticing this within yourself. The piece of you that still needs every little thing set, every little thing met before it moves, before it gives action, before it takes off, is a mind that has confused certainty with readiness. Certainty, right? Being guaranteed is not coming. Being set is not coming. Choosing to be ready, readiness, is a decision made without certainty. This hits home not only for me, but I see it within my patients and also my clients, of dwelling in a space where if you run through this framework one more time, you're going to yield the same results. You have been teetering, grazing, touching insanity for a long time, because you loop this over and over and over and over again. You've done this cycle over and over and over again. But one thing that I see as a clinician, as a nurse midwife, all the time is, especially my patients who are older, well established, well educated, very career oriented, very, very indebted and in tuned, and like they're in their career. And when they become pregnant, they don't have a sense of certainty. They don't have a sense of, I know what's going on. They actually have a huge sense of vulnerability, in the sense of, yes, I read this, yes, I've researched this, but now in experiencing it, it's not as I first thought. It's not happening the way that I thought it was going to happen. I am experiencing these symptoms, these emotions, this pregnancy, this whole thing way differently than what I ever imagined. I have hopes, I have expectations, I have dreams and desires. Yet there is a gentle vulnerability placed above all those things, because labor, pregnancy, birth, postpartum are all very vulnerable, very powerful, very dynamic stages of your life. Yes, it's only a year long, right? From start to finish. But it is still very, very, very robust. Nothing is certain for you, nothing is guaranteed. What we want as clinicians for you is always safe mom, safe baby. And even I can add for myself, especially as a midwife, like I want you to have a birth experience that you feel good about. Happiness is fleeting. I understand that. Excited is fleeting. I understand that. Sadness, disappointment, also fleeting. I understand those things. But you feel solid. You can sit there and say, yeah, I really wanted XYZ to happen. Those things didn't happen. But here with my baby, here doing this, here doing that, I feel good. I feel good with the way things happened. I feel good with the way that everyone shifted and I was flexible enough to keep it going, to let it go. This idea of certainty versus readiness is a huge tension because it basically asks, are you flexible? Are you mentally flexible? And mental flexibility is a huge aspect of pregnancy, labor, birth, postpartum. If you do not have mental flexibility, it is going to be a hard, difficult time. Just naturally, it will be a hard, difficult time. If you do not have the ability to set expectations and let it go, right? Set the expectation, be in power to say, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but also let it go when things are totally derailed, totally not what you signed up for. Then you are given just a slight door that you can pull open to allow yourself to fully experience the moment, fully experience pregnancy, fully experience labor, birth, postpartum, fully experience it in a way that makes sense for you, in a way that feels good to you. I can objectively tell you everything. I can take care of you objectively. I can tell you all the things, right? I can call in the OBGYNs, I can call in maternal fetal medicine, I can call in the geneticists, I can call in the neonatal team. We can do all these things, anesthesiology, we can do all these great things. But if you are rigid in your mentality, if you are mentally stuck, because rigidity also can turn very quickly into mental stuckness, you are stuck in a very moving forward, moving progress, right? Your baby's growing within you. You are growing physically, mentally, emotionally. Everything's changing in your body. Your hormones are firing off and keeping things stable as much as they can. You're in labor, you're pushing, you get called, like things are changing, things you're feeling things that you never felt before, especially if this is your first baby, right? Postpartum, you see your beautiful baby, you're holding them, they're awake all the time, all the time, all the time awake. They're awake all the time. They drink, spit up, cry, burp, go to sleep, poop, do it again. Like it's everything. And you're in the hospital, and then we tell you goodbye. We discharge you, right? We discharge you. You're home with your baby. And you have to ask yourself, and just listening to the way I describe this, am I mentally flexible? Not labile, no, mentally flexible. Or are there certain things that have to remain straight, certain things that have to be set, certain things that have to be rigid, certain things that I'm going to be stuck in? Do not confuse readiness with certainty, because certainty is not coming. Readiness is a decision made without certainty. Decide to be ready. Decide that you've done enough. Decide with what you have mentally already completed. Moving on to the emotional aspects of things, right? There's something underneath the not yet that deserves to be named. For some women, it is fear of losing herself, the version of her that exists before. For some, it is the relationship she is not sure she can hold the weight of what comes next. The relationship she has with her body, the relationship she has with her emotions, the relationship she is having and will continue to have with a baby, the current relationship she still has, and those changing, romantic, friendships, familiar, right? Those changing, business, networking, those changing. And also for some, it is a trigger, a wound, a memory that is not yet been resolved, that she does not want to pass on to the next version of herself, the next generation of herself. And why do I say the next version and the next generation, right? The next generation is a child, right? That's the next generation. You don't want to pass on that trigger. The next version of yourself, the you who is a mother, the you that is not you of now, right? That's the next version. You also don't want to pass on that wound, that trigger, that memory that has deep feelings around it, deep emotional tethers around it. You don't want to pass that on. Being able to notice these parts of you, being able to say, yeah, I am really, really worried about the way that my relationship's going to change with food. I'm really, really worried about the way that my body's going to change. I'm very, very worried about the way that my romantic and familiar relationships are going to change with pregnancy and a new child, right? Everyone assumes happiness, everyone assumes excitement and joy, right? Everyone assumes those things. But we know that that is not the full and complete picture of motherhood. That is a curated, very outward projection of motherhood, right? Happiness, joy, frolicking in the daisies with kids giggling, right? The reality of motherhood is what we all live through with our own guardians and our own mothers and our grandmothers who raised us, right? Seeing our aunts, seeing our older cousins, seeing women in our community, and also the expectation of motherhood set upon us from our culture, from our society, from our religion, and also the expectation of motherhood from your partner. If you choose to do this with a partner, right? That has its own layer of expectations of what their motherhood experience was, what their mother did, what they remember from their childhood, what they want to impart, what they do not want to impart on their own child, as well with you, mingling those things. That is also there. And most importantly, above all, the expectation you have for yourself. You are a high achieving woman. You are a woman who has set goals, set standards, set things out for herself, created a life of wonderful, driven destiny. And when you turn that edge, when you turn that understanding to motherhood, there is a sense of weight placed upon it that feels inappropriate, right? Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to read these books. I'm going to make my child do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, right? Everything sounds great. But even in your emotions, you're like, oof, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. There's a lot of things going on. Will I be ready for that? Right? Will I be up for that? And we are captains of hauling ass, right? We are co-captains, co-chairs of the haul ass committee. We can haul ass. That was never the question. Do you want to haul ass your entire motherhood experience? Being aware of all these emotional bandwidth container stretching things, right? Your emotional set point will be stretched and pushed out to the far reaches of your universe that you've never experienced before. Being aware of that, knowing that's happening. Are you in fear or are you in excitement? Are you hiding or are you kind of pumped? Are you like, okay, that sounds fun. Expanding my emotional set point. How deep can I go emotionally? How far can I go emotionally with this? That's all the reflective questions that need to be felt and move through you. Sitting with these is not a weakness. Sitting with these is information. The question is whether you are listening to it or hiding from it. And that transitions us very beautifully into the spiritual aspects of this, right? Becoming a mother is not just a biological event. It is an identity crossing. You are her and now you are her. These two people, these two identities, these two set points in the timeline will never meet again. You can't undo becoming a mother. No matter how horrendous and all the scary things happen, you cannot undo becoming a mother. Once you pass that threshold, you can't go back. The door's locked. There's no door, it's a wall. Can't go back. Is that identity crossing, right? It is a portal, it is a focus point. You're not just deciding to have a child. That is like the bottom of the totem pole. You are deciding who you are willing to become. You are willing something to become. Energetically, spiritually, divinely, you are energetically turning things and alchemizing it. You are deciding who you are willing to become. And this is not a decision the checklist can make for you. This is not something that the framework can compute. You can't analyze this until you render a confidence level or set 95% confidence level that makes statistical sense to you. Readiness is not found at the end of enough preparation. It is a chosen act in the body before your mind catches up. And I want to say something before we get to our reflection questions to to allow you to go even deeper. Your you being here listening to my voice has already made it so clear to you that you know what you want. You may say that you're scared of everything. You may say that you are afraid of the jump, the leap. The you want a little bit more certainty. You want some more guarantees. You want a little bit more money in the bank account. You want a little bit of more this and that. Right? I believe you. I concur. I second all your motion. Right? But you being here, listening to this point, you've already know what you want. You already chosen what you want. And remember, you saying, "Oh, I want a baby," is the least of the whole thing. You want the change. You want the growth. You want the version of you after. As scary as it is, as frightening as it is, as uncertain as it is, as blurry as the vision is in the future, right? There is something about her. There's something about that version of you that you're like, I don't know who you are. I just know you're a complete badass and I need to become you. I need to meet you in real time. We need to shake hands and you need to take over my life because I want to live life through your eyes. My life currently, amazing, 12 out of 10. Wouldn't change a thing. But to know that you're on the other side of this, to know you're on the other side of this transition, this phase, right? that is like what you are wanting to go to. You know deep down in your gut, in your soul, that you want to do this. And your mind will never catch up. Accept that now. Your mind will never, ever, ever catch up. And that is the transition. That is the edge. That is the next frontier of yourself. When you are no longer operating on mental, logistical, very objective truths. You are operating from self destined, the destination that you set over there, set points and realities. An intuitive feeling of, I don't know what's over there. I need to be over there. I don't know how I'm going to get over there. I don't know if I can logically get over there, economically, in my relationship, with my personal relationships. Like, I don't know all the ins and outs. But I need to go over there. I need to be over there. I need to live in that body, in that life, in that reality. Yes, I know it's going to be hard. Like every mom says, it's going to be hard. Yes, I know it's going to be the toughest thing I'm going to do. Like every mom says, it's going to be. Yes, 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 yes. And something within me knows I need to go there. That is certainty. You deciding that you need to go there. Your mind will never catch up. We hope our mind catches up. She will never catch up. You need to transition into deep gut level movement, gut level change, gut level, I'm going to do that. That's the one thing you can guarantee. Your gut. Following your gut. That's a guarantee. That's a big guarantee that you make to yourself. That is the self-trust. But if you don't have the self-trust to make that decision, to make that new core belief of, I'm going to follow my gut, I'm going to follow myself, I'm going to follow my vision, we're going to be waiting for the mind to catch up for a long time. And that will not happen. That will not happen. The mind is created to not ever catch up evolutionarily. Our mind needs to create problems for us. Our mind needs to make us feel like we're always in a chaotic one step away from total decimation and disaster. Our mind is our hypervigilant protector. Skittish, hypervigilant though. Skittish sometimes. Always creating what ifs, what ifs, what ifs, what ifs. Oh my God, what ifs, what ifs. She will never catch up. The inner critic will never catch up. The inner audience will continue to yell. They are meant to do that. What you can guarantee is your gut telling you to move there. Will you follow her? So some reflection questions to think about. The first one is, what condition am I still waiting to meet before I give myself permission to move? The second one is what I am calling unreadiness actually fear? And if so, fear of what specifically? And third, what version of myself am I most afraid of leaving behind? The decision to try is one of the most identity loaded moments of your life, right? There are certain things that we as women go through in our health, like puberty, menopause, aging, all those things, right? We don't really have a say in that. It's just going to happen as it always does. Pregnancy is one of those things. It doesn't just happen, right? In a healthy dynamic, in a healthy world, right? Pregnancy happens as a very intentional act. The decision loaded moments of your life, as pregnancy is, as choosing your career, as choosing your job, as choosing your partner, or choosing not to have a partner, to live in a non-monogamous way, and choosing to live a certain lifestyle, if you are in it and you are stuck in those identity shifting moments, not just in your body, but in your internal self, in your soul, that is the work that we do in Edge, built in as such to support. I hate the word help. That's why I like always like help, right? To support, to assist you through this transition point. And if you're interested in Edge and any of the other programs, you can find the link down below. So, in closing, readiness is documented, researched, and studied, and still deeply a very personal decision. The checklist will never be completed enough. The conditions will never feel perfectly aligned. And at some point, the decision stops being around preparation and starts being about who you are choosing to become. You are always, 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 always the next frontier. Next week, I'll see you later and we'll talk about the next topic of the edge of conception. I'll talk to you later. Bye.